Yo, it's early. So we back. Today is, I usually do back twice a week. The first day I concentrate on pulls or rows, and then the second one I incorporate some hamstrings. So we start off with the hamstrings, and then work our way up the back. See what we can do today.
Hello, welcome to my show. You know, pretty ladies on front row. Yeah.
All right, so here I always like to start with the seated leg curl. Now my gym doesn't have a lying leg curl, because if it did, that would be my first hamstring exercise normally, or a straight leg deadlift. But anyway, today I started with a seated leg curl, and as you can see, you know, it's nothing fancy about it. It's just a traditional seated leg curl. But you will notice,
Then I'll superset that with some back extensions for a couple rounds.
as you can see, like as soon as I get done with the seated leg curl, I go over immediately do a back extension. I learned one time when I was in school, a guy told me, because I used to do lower back and hamstrings separate, and I was working out with a friend of mine, and he was like, you know, the lower back and the hamstrings connected. So I was like, nah, I really didn't, which is kind of, you know, weird. So now I always do, like, if I'm gonna do my deadlifts or back extensions,
The lower back and your hamstring are one and the same. They're connected. So
I'm gonna do them on hamstrings or with back. So that's cool. So this is a really cool superset you can do, just to kind of wake you up, man. Get the blood flowing, get you a nice good pump going in your hamstrings and lower back. Forces that blood in there, gets you ready for your compound movements if you choose to move on to a deadlift. Today in this video though, I don't deadlift after this. I deadlift is just a straight leg. I don't do the traditional excuse me, deadlift. I do the straight leg this day, but as you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and do as many rounds as it takes for me to warm up A, and B, get a good pump in my lower back and hamstrings. It's also really good, and you'll notice here, to put the weight behind your head when you're doing a back extension. A lot of times I see a lot of people put the weight in front of them, and if you don't believe me, just try it one day. Try to put the weight in front of you and do this exercise, and notice that the resistance isn't much different. You put it behind your head, it makes the resistance
put some heat on there.
harder. So try it out. You know, that's how I do mine. They work pretty good for me so far. So give it a try. And you can see, you know, this is the third round or fourth round. I can't really remember, but I believe it's the third round. And yeah, you know, right now you can see the heat's getting on there, because on this exercise right here, I increase the weight each time. So after, you know, each round I go up, you know, a stack on the pin. So as you can see it in my face. The heat is getting hot. So I'm getting warm. We're getting ready to go. Getting pumped. And as you see, I'm adding a little weight on the extensions as well. You know, I'm going up in weight on it. So now we're up to 25 pounds. And I know, you know, I see even women in there with 245s, hold them in front of them doing it. I'm just like, man, I must be weak. Cause if I put 245s on my back, I'm a burn out. But as you see, I burnt out on this one. I had to drop the weight. So but yeah, man. So now you can tell I'm getting warm. The focus is coming. Pre-workout's going through my veins. I'm almost ready to get started, which I am. You know, I'm already started, but you know, had an equipment malfunction right there. But anyway, so here we go again. Like I said, the weight's getting heavier, hamstrings getting tighter, getting fuller. Gotta fight through it though. What they say, no pain, no gain. Gotta keep going. And these back extensions, I said, man, try it out. Try the superset out. It's a nice one to warm up, to get ready. Heck, you could just do these 2 exercises before you start with on your back day, and I guarantee you see some gains in some areas, some parts of your back that you didn't notice. So try it out. And you see, I started heavy, and I wasn't scared to drop the weight and just keep moving. Sometimes you gotta do that, man. Sometimes the weight's heavy.
Oh, that's pump.
Yeah, so yeah, you heard it. But yeah, it's intense. Try it out. And you gotta think too, I'm still warming up. This is still warming up. Even though the weight's getting heavier, it's getting harder. But I hadn't started any type of back movements yet. Just all hamstring focus, lower back. And the heat is on there, believe me. But sometimes you just gotta push through it like that, Back to the back extensions. I'm gonna tell you, this bodybuilding isn't for the people that really don't want it. Now, you can make really good progress, but there's just so many muscles and connecting muscles and stuff in the human body that, if you really in the body sculpting, like the art of it, there's a lot to be done. Heck, there's still a lot for me to learn.
One more.
And you see, we're gonna do one more round. And at this point, like I told you, it's really early. And, not only is this waking me up, but I've noticed if you start training, like you get a really good warm up before you start pushing, it makes the workout so much better. Like your compound movements become easier. You're already muscle-mind connection. And it just makes everything work a lot better. See the reps is going down, not intentionally, but just to burn.
All right, so the second little circuit for hamstring before I start my back. Grab you a couple 2.5s, sit on the floor. Just put your feet on them. Keep you on your heels. That way when you do the straight leg deadlift, I really don't keep my legs straight, but when you do the deadlift, you can.
So right here, just a traditional straight leg deadlift. You notice I put my feet on the 2.5s. I actually learned that from Phil Heath in one of his earlier videos.
I don't come all the way up. Learned that from, I think it was Phil Heath video. And then with that, I'm a superset, a leg curl.
Before Phil Heath became, Mr. Olympia when he was coming up, I noticed he put his toes up on some things that, when he performed his straight leg deadlift, and I've been doing them ever since. So, and then you see another superset. So here I'm supersetting straight leg deadlift with one leg curl, I guess, hamstring curl, one leg hamstring curl. And like I told y'all, my hamstrings are on fire at this point. It's not taking much weight to get the job done. And I'm squeezing at this point. Getting ready, prepared to train back. And the back video, I already uploaded it. I released it last week, so be sure to check that out. And this is just the first part of my back workout. Like I said, I train back twice a week. And one of the days I heavy focus on rows. And the other day I heavy focus on pulls. Sometimes I'll do the hamstrings before the rows. Sometimes I'll do the hamstrings before the pulls. Just depends on how I'm feeling. But this also gives me opportunity to be able to hit hamstrings twice as well in a week if I hit them with back. And with hamstrings, I've noticed the key to it, which I don't have the best hamstrings in the world by no means, but I've noticed if you see what I'm saying? Like, you see how I don't come all the way up? If you keep the heat on the stretch and then try to contract it, kind of take it off your lower back. And that's what I do. So if you notice I'm not coming all the way up, it's not because I'm scared of the range of motion of anything. I'm just trying to keep the blood and everything in the hamstring. Learned that from Phil Heath as well. In that same video or a later video, he talks about that, about, the straight leg deadlift and keeping the tension on the hamstrings and off the glutes and the lower back. So that's why I don't come all the way up. And as you can see, my rhomboid, I don't know if you call that rhomboid, lower lats, coming off it through my hoodie, coming off the lower back, because I'm so full of blood in the lower back and hamstring area at this point. Even with that short range of motion on the straight leg deadlift, I'm still pumping on the lower back unintentionally. And here I go up each round as well. I'm going up quarters. Some people, go up 45s, go 4 or 5 and all that. As I'm getting older, some days I'm feeling the internet and I'll give y'all some heavy lifts. But if you catch me in my element training, it's gonna be lower weight, higher volume, but heavy weight too, moderate to heavy. That's where I like to keep it. But I also use the lighter weight for pumps and warm-ups and muscle mind connection. So I use the whole scale. I try to use lighter weights, moderate weights, and heavy weights. And as you can see, I'm fatigued. That part of my body is just on fire. But you gotta keep going. Like I said, we add it every time. And see, on this, if you notice, I'm trying to stay as upright as possible. I can't really feel it right now, but I want to say I feel it more in the top of my hamstring when I do it this way. Like the glute ham tie-in. If you can stay straight up. Now, as the weight gets heavier, of course, see here I'm tired on this side, obviously, so I'm a lot more hunched over. But while the weight's light, try to stay as straight up as possible. And I know as it gets heavier, you're gonna have to bend. But so here we go again. Don't have any more quarters, so I just use a 35 to add on top. Like I said, I just because I use lighter weights don't mean I can't lift heavy weights. It just means, this is what I work with, man. That's what I do. And I believe this is the last round for me, because I'm good and warm now. You can tell I'm ready to start back. Hamstrings is one of the muscles I do not like to train them. I repeat, I do not like I'm trained hamstrings, but they are just as important as your chest. I mean, if you really are wanting to get into bodybuilding and get in on stage, the last thing you want to do is get on stage and be missing a body part. Trust me, I've done it. I've just stepped on stage, thought I had big arms, and all I had was a chest. You know what I'm saying? So the last thing you want to do, is better to have it than to not. And plus the art of it, you don't want to be, you don't want big quads or no hamstrings, or big calves, no hamstrings, or you want everything to be proportionate. So train, do the grunt work, do the hamstrings, do your calves, do your forearms, all the grunt work, do it. It'll help your physique look that much better. It'll make other body parts look bigger as well. And as you can see, I'm fading. You can see my lower back is trying to take over. It's so tight that it's hard to even curl these. So and you can see too, I'm keeping the weight really light on these, lighter than usual. So you can tell the pump is really good, that the weight really isn't mattering for the contractions. But like I said, man, for me, it's all about the pump, the blood flow, the contractions. That's all it's about. I've already been there, I've been young before. I've tried to lift all the weights in the gym.
Then on this last one, I'm gonna drop it back to just 1/4. Try to get 15 or 20. So we'll see.
So as you see here, I'm dropping the weights. Because at this point, I mean, I could go heavier, but I'm so full in the hamstrings and lower back area that it's really irrelevant about the weight at this point. Heck, I could just do toe touches and still get the same amount, you know, of work. So that volume training, I know a lot of people preach it on the internet. I'm preaching it as well. That volume training has not only kept me lean through the years, but it's helped my muscle endurance. You know, I get stronger as I go, and it's just the way I've trained. A lot of people come in on fire and then gas out. You know, as soon as you gas, I'm just warming up to keep pushing. You know what I mean? So volume's huge. You see, we're done with that. Done with that. But yeah, so you know, here's a nice, you know, hamstring workout, you know, to try. It's really quick. You don't have to do it with back. You can do this hamstring workout standalone. That's why I cut it into 2 videos. You can do this hamstring workout standalone. See the heart rate high.
All right, so this last round is, then we're getting to some back. Start with them rows. Try to roll till we can't no more.
But yeah, so you can do it standalone, and I mean, it'll put some heat on there. And once all this Corona stuff is over, you see that room in there. We finally got a lion leg curl, and I'll show you some really cool hamstring workouts that you can do as well. But and that's also, I got plenty more hamstring exercises that I do from time to time that I'll show you in the weeks coming, Lord willing. So yeah, just stay tuned. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or anything you would like to see me train or whatever, you know, like I said, I'm not the greatest bodybuilder of all time, but I have been training and bodybuilding a long time. So on that note, I'll be back. Gee.